Hi Taurus, I hope that everybody's doing well. Before we get into the reading, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. My name is Gabriella, for anybody new tuning in. Three of Cups. Some of you are hanging out with friends. Maybe an event that you're going to, a gathering. For some of you, this is just you socializing, things like that. It looks like there's also an invite, too. I'm hearing that this is somebody from in your inner circle. Somebody's inviting you. It looks like to a gathering or something, or like your friends want to go somewhere and they're like, hey Taurus, come with us. You may have a lot that's going on though. So you may be like, is this something that can fit into my schedule? I feel kind of busy right now. You may also be trying to balance out a relationship too. Like, how much do I spend with this person and how much time do I spend with my friends? Wanting to like manage and prioritize your important relationships. Feeling stressed out. Maybe quite busy right now. Feels like you're doing your best to manage things. However, you may be feeling overwhelmed, kind of like there's not enough time in the day to do all of this. If there are things that you're taking on that your heart is not in, you want to be mindful of that, because you may be switching around some stuff. If you're doing things, you want to kind of go down the list of all of the stuff that you're juggling and really ask yourself, are these things that I really want to be doing? Because what it looks like to me is that you have a lot going on. There's stuff socially that's happening, and for you within your personal life and maybe like with your business or with your job, you also have a lot that is underway is what I'm hearing, okay? And you feel a sense of pressure. And so if there's anything that doesn't need to be on your plate that you can take off right now, it's going to be a great idea. And if there's anything that you're trying to force or trying to rush, you want to ask yourself, like, why am I in such a panic to do that? Do I feel pressure from like outside sources? Am I putting too much pressure on myself? I want to check in and get to the bottom of this and see like why I'm taking on so much right now. Because it just seems like as much as you try to figure this out, some of it is not going to get done. And so it's either like, I'm going to give this my best effort and whatever can't get done, it just can't get done. Or I need to take some things off of my plate and then I can get everything done that I need to get done while like maybe revisiting these other things at another time. Getting organized in this way. Otherwise, there's a sense of you like feeling burnt out is how I'm seeing this play out for you. This is going to lead to some changes happening. Changes are budding from this. Kind of like, I can't keep doing things like this anymore, and so I know something's got to give here. Which I'm seeing you're also working on too. Like trying to be more in flow and in the rhythm of things rather than being stagnant and like, I got to get this done even if it's not like relevant to you anymore or not resonating with you anymore. I'm seeing you be in a spot where there's more of a move of trying to like embrace this fluidity of yours. And seeing where that takes you. That's definitely what's being supported right now. You having some sort of change up. Yeah, I'm getting this again. There are people people that like want to be around you, that are being like, hey, come do this with us, or can you show up here? Like all of these like asks of people wanting to have like fun with you and socialize and stuff like that, and like, can you come here and do this? And it just seems like so much is being like asked and maybe even expected of you, that you're going to get more like deliberate or conscientious. I feel like there's a better word for this. It's like being more specific with what it is that you're doing, or being more selective. Yes, being more selective with what you're taking on, because it just seems like it's not possible for you as one human being to be able to do all of this and be in that many places and get all of this stuff done. Even if you'd like to think that you can do all of this, I'm seeing you be at a point where it's like, why is this so stressful? Like, this stuff is supposed to be fun, and it's turning into work, is what it's feeling like. Yeah, it's giving work. It's supposed to be fun. This change is definitely going to help you connect back with yourself. Also, too, I will say this, because I'm seeing this energetically come through as a couple different messages. You want to connect more with the heart space. You may be keeping yourself very, very busy so as to avoid maybe something that feels painful or uncomfortable. This is usually what's going on here. Sometimes when we make our schedules very busy, or we like overbook ourselves, we may be doing that to avoid healing work, or to avoid recognizing that maybe we feel hurt by something, or that something's missing, or something's wrong, or there's some sort of issue and we need to clear out the heart space. And especially too, if we're like associating our worth with like how many friends we have, or how many places we can show up, or how much we can take on, and how many people can rely on us and stuff like that. We start like associating and tying our worth to things that are outside of ourselves, rather than bringing it back to the inside. But in order to make that transition, it means that there's also something that needs to be faced. And there may be something where you're like, I'd rather be overworked right now and very busy than look at what's going on in the heart space, because that doesn't feel particularly pleasant. And so I'd rather take on a different type of stress than to deal with the emotional work that needs to be done here. Yeah, because you may be bypassing a little bit. That may not even be a conscious thing that you're doing. Like, you may be recognizing that now, like, oh, that's what I've been doing. But it may not be something that was deliberate. It may not be something that was a like conscientious effort, you know. But now you're like putting the pieces together and being like, that's why I was avoiding having downtime, you know, because something's just inevitable to face. But I'm seeing with the changes that you're making, it's like definitely supporting you moving into a more grounded space where you actually, rather than having all this stuff on your plate where you're like, I can't also be like doing the emotional work too because I have all this other stuff. By reducing the stress that you're feeling, it opens you up to what's going on emotionally for you, and it lets you feel like, I'm capable of being in this space to be able to like show up for myself emotionally. And I'm seeing there's also a lot that you're learning too. Trial and error is what I'm hearing. Learning. Your motivation is to create more harmony in your life. That is why you want to be learning more about the heart space and what's going on there for you. This just means in general, like how you're affected within the heart space, what's going on, what it looks like in there, getting to know yourself, how your heart beats. Getting underneath all of it. Back, behind, and underneath. This is really going to help you get things moving too. I'm seeing something where you may have kind of been putting off, because I'm getting like a procrastination energy, but you may have not labeled it as that because you're like, it's all of these things that I have to do, and these are important things that I have to do that are expected of me, or like my duties, you know, like very Taurian like mind frame to get into, of like, this is work that I have to get done, and like I'm showing up for myself and for the people that I care about and all of that. And so, like, even though it was a very good excuse, you may be getting to the point where you're like, it was an excuse at the bottom of it for me not to recognize or like address what this is that's going on. And it's like, you put in like all of this work, even subconsciously, to avoid this. But I'm seeing like, as soon as you show up and you're like, okay, like, let's look under the hood and see what's going on there. It's like, this ends up being like, you think this is going to take you 10 years. And when you like open the hood, you're like, oh, I can fix that in 5 minutes. I'm seeing it be a situation like this. It's like, I've been putting this off. Why? It was so easy to just show up and look and see what was going on. So I'm seeing something happen very quickly. And then it's like, you're done with it. Keep moving. Yeah, easy fix. I'm really not seeing this be a big deal at all. You wouldn't feel it's a big deal. There are things that are happening after, though, because once that's dealt with, I'm seeing that it immediately pushes you into this space where you're like, oh, I have a choice to make. It's kind of like, though, you couldn't see that you had this choice to make until you accomplished this. And now that you accomplished whatever needed to be done or checked in with, feels like a checkup within the heart space. You move to seeing like, oh, the next step is for me to make a choice here, but I couldn't have seen this coming, really, is the feeling. It's about what you want. The way that I'm reading this energetically is that in the back of your mind, you kind of knew all of this. Especially too, because like, I'm not here telling you anything you don't know. I'm just bringing everything to the front for you and laying it all out in like a concise way where it's easier to read. It's like, I'm kind of condensing the chapter here for you. What I'm getting that's been going on is that like subconsciously there's been like a lot of this stuff that you've been aware of and holding on to, but because of you having like so many other things in the front of your brain that you've been kind of like juggling, we can say, you haven't really had to like address these things fully because they haven't been like fully formed in the front of your consciousness for you. But now I'm seeing things like all come to the front, and it's like, oh, maybe that's why I wasn't doing that, or that's why I was avoiding that thing over there. And now I'm seeing there be a choice, a decision that needs to be made where like action's going to need to be taken on your part. And I'm seeing this be connected with like what's going on within your heart space as far as like your desires, your desire system, and what it is that you want. But something may feel like a lot to be, I'm getting like this feeling of a heart that feels very heavy. Like almost kind of like falling out of your chest. Like something feels very deep. So there's a decision that needs to be made about what you want. This would not be something immediate. This is something that would take time, and this is also something that would take investing in, and you already know that. But you know, I'm seeing the High Priestess be here. The High Priestess knows what you want to be investing in, and you are the High Priestess. This is like deep within you, and you connect with your higher self. Your higher self is like, yeah, you want to invest in planting those seeds, and it's something worth it to you to wait it out and see what comes from it. because it's something that you want. It's like, if you want this thing badly enough, and it looks like it is something that you want badly enough, you are going to decide to take the steps necessary, even though it's going to be an investment and it's going to take time. But you know that, like, this is going to be the thing for you. Like, this is going to be it for you in some way. And you want this. And your higher self knows that too. Like this connection with the part of you that is like really able to look at the trajectory of the future for you. It's just a matter of listening to it. But part of you may be in a space where, for some reason, I'm seeing the Five of Pentacles. This is like, I don't believe that I deserve that, or I don't feel like I'm in the right position to be able to have that. But it all comes from a space of like fear and self-doubt, like not thinking that you're good enough and things like that, which has you feeling like you won't be effective. It's like learned helplessness, or are you just not cheering yourself on? Are you feeling like you don't have what you need or the support that you need, or you may end up kind of lonely if you go down that path, all of these different things. But it's stuff that, like, when you look at it, because I'm seeing you, like, feeling something heavily. Like, the Five of Pentacles is very real. It's not just like, oh, it's all in your head. It's like, no, that self-doubt is really real. Like, you're really feeling it. That self-limiting that's happening, like, that's really happening here. Like, you're really feeling that, you know? So it's important to validate what's going on. And then to understand that you don't need to identify with that. You are separate from that. That part of you that's just noticing that that's going on, you want to check in there. And you want to look at this and recognize that you limiting yourself is not going to help get you what you want. And you making moves while you're limiting yourself has been why you keep coming up empty or coming up short when you're pursuing the things that you're pursuing. And I'm seeing you just be like really real with yourself here too about this, and recognize, hey, like, if I want to be investing in something that's going to be satisfying and really worth it to me, I know I need to like put in the work now and take those steps and invest now, even if this is going to take some time to come to fruition. It's worth it to me because I don't want to keep ending up in this same spot. There may also be like a lifestyle shift that you're making too. I'm seeing something about like partying or socializing, or like who you hang out with or where you've been hanging out. Something is going to be changing. You would have felt like this was kind of like coming, or even a long time coming. Like, I can't keep going on like this, or it even feels like a growing out of something type of energy that I'm seeing. It feels like a lifestyle thing that's happening here. But I'm seeing like this is something that you may be familiar with, but you may be like, there's this part of me that's growing that like doesn't really resonate with this, and it's just waiting for like the rest of you to kind of catch up to it. Which is like more of a psychological thing for you, is how I'm seeing this. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.